Good middle of the night to you all. I accidentally drank green tea last night, um, instead of my chamomile tea that I have prepared for bed because no alcohol. And I did some yin yoga, and then I still had trouble sleeping. So, one of the weird last resorts that I have is to actually take a yoga mat and sleep on the floor because I discovered a few years ago that when I have insomnia, if I change the surface that I'm on, that sort of does a little neurological reset. And so I'm going to go back to bed after I um, have some chamomile tea, uploading videos now. And it really is true that our brain waves change when we go in and out of sleep. And I find that I have the most productive, creative sessions when I'm approaching sleep or coming out of it. But this shit is annoying. So I'm happier today. I feel less pressure. I feel like I don't have to get it all done. There will be enough time. I'm going to probably do really basic stuff again today, like laundry. I might drive in and out of the Badlands. Um, and then tonight was going to be like my night on the town, but uh, I'm going to meet some people that I met at a bowling alley. And this woman that I just happened to bump into told me that she had a boss who was a South Dakota um, author who really drew from local history in her books. And I find that, like I said, the people here are abundantly um, friendly and down to earth and just easy to connect with for me. So this woman wants to give me some of her boss's books. So I was gonna maybe get a hotel room in town. That way I could, have some beers, but beer is not even an option right now. Um, Hopefully they have some really crappy non-alcoholic version. But I am still having the time of my life. I want to make these little videos and talk about things because when it comes to the mental illness aspects of life, for so long, and it's still the case that most people think that breaking down stigma is the social work that we have to do around mental illness, that we just have to convince people that the mentally ill can't help it. There's nothing that can be done about it except for pills. And we just need to teach the culture at large that people with mental illness are not bad and scary. Um, and while that is well intentioned, it's not really what the psychiatric survivor movement is about. Um, for me, I find, I have a lot of friends who are guys. actually, and I was thinking about why is that? Why don't I get along well with women? And it's not that I don't get along well with women. I'm not really sure why it is, but I will say that women, because we are like conditioned to manage crises, women tend to be very sensitive to me and my moods and my quirks. And if I let them in, on, oh, I have this past with all these diagnoses, they tend to want to nurture, right? And that can lead to a lot of micromanaging and makes me feel a little claustrophobic. And I know that my guy friends just don't do that. Um, but anyway, I'm hoping that if I'm able to show myself functioning through symptoms, living mostly symptom free without medication, that maybe that will shed some light on what we're really dealing with, which is deconstructing all of these narratives that have been um, really profitable, but also wrong. So I'm where would I rate myself in terms of symptoms today? I would say it's pretty high up there because this sleep is the fundamental pillar of health, not diet, not exercise even. But if you can't sleep right, you can't think right. And so, yeah, I kind of expected this. I'm not gonna lie, I was afraid. But again, you can't let your fears hold you back for the rest of your life. People sometimes say to me, "Oh, you wrote a novel? I want to kind of want to do that, but it's never felt like I have the time, you know." And they'll say it in this way that makes it clear that they're just really intimidated by the process. Um, the time thing, yeah, I mean, novels are time consuming and there's a lot of opportunity costs, although I don't so much think about those anymore. I used to, because I used to feel a lack of social status from not having a white collar professional career and would sort of frame it to myself like I had made this foolish bargain and pursued my passion versus Scott Galloway's advice to young people is um screw the passion stuff because you need to provide for yourself and that is what is going to make you ultimately happy. And I would concur, except that I'm too far up Shit's Creek, so I'm just gonna paddle along here. And I used to feel like, well, I I don't know. I mean, all my friends they have master's degrees, or not all of them, but a lot of them, and or some kind of job that people respect. I don't. I work in warehouse. That's what I'm doing. You know, this year. I tend to work really crappy blue collar jobs that don't require a lot of mental bandwidth, and I've become exhausted. But I really do think, in a way, that working a variety of quote unquote regular jobs has probably made me a better writer, and certainly wouldn't take it back at this point because I know that if I had gone the route of getting an advanced degree and trying to buckle down and have, the office job with the The LinkedIn. God, I hate LinkedIn. But if I had done that, I would have lasted maybe 1 or 2 years. And then, like, burned out. So, no regrets here. But if you're thinking about trying to write, or maybe you're an aspiring novelist, but you just can't throw your arms around it because, you know, well, what I always say to people when they're like, it's just take, okay, well, how long are you planning on living? Because that immediately puts it in perspective. I mean, 10 years, 40 years more. So when you put it to people like that, it's like, yeah, I mean, you could write a word, a page, a paragraph a day, whatever it is. It's not that hard. And yeah, that's enough for now.